Okay, sorry about that. We're actually gonna have three parts to this video because now because I had to end that because I had like music blaring in my face. Um, so everything that I put on Etsy, which I'm no longer on, I now have my own domain name. It's www.shop.conjuredcardia.com, which was my big goal to not work for anybody but myself. So Etsy, I was paying, by the time I got off of there, I was paying a ridiculous amount of fees, and I was paying them monthly, what I now pay yearly to own my own domain name. So, but my point is that I keep trying to get to, and I keep rambling and getting off on tangents, is that over the years I had collected and harvested all these herbs. I'd grown them in my garden, and I'd harvested them and dried them and put them in bottles and labeled them because I was using them for my own daily practices. So I made my own candles. I had a friend who had bees. This is a different guy than who I get it from now because I lived in a different town at this time, but I was getting beeswax from him to make my salves and my candles. And so these were all things that I was already doing. So I had like this was no investment for me to start up this shop other than the 20 cents per listing, which that it costs to list an item. And I had a digital camera because someone had given us one because when we had a baby, we got it as a gift. And even though I didn't know how to use it very well or take good pictures, that was one thing that I needed. So, and I will talk more about the importance of your photographs in your work a little bit later on. So it's not like my point of telling you this is that I don't want people to think that I had like an investor or that I came from money and that's how I started this business, because that is so far from the truth. I grew up living in at one point in my life, I was living in a house that had dirt floors and a washing machine out in the backyard. No dryer. I'm not even sure if the house had running water in it. I was really little. But we had a washer out in the backyard. We used to wash our clothes, and it was the kind you had to wring it through. So I lived there for a period when I was little, and the rest of the time I grew up in a trailer that was made in the 1960s. So my room was an 8 by 10 room. It was big enough for a twin bed and then about 2 feet to walk in. So you by no means have to have money to get into this type of work or to start a business for yourself and be successful at it. Those are, I think, being very ambitious, wanting to get through school, wanting to start a business of my own, and wanting desperately to escape the poverty that I grew up in is what led me to work so hard at doing this and becoming successful. And it's not that I wanted to escape the poverty because I wanted money. I wanted to escape the poverty because I wanted to feel successful. I wanted to feel like I had added something to the world, and I wanted to show people that you can come from nothing and you still have a place here on this earth, and you can still impact people, and you can still make a huge change in things. You can educate people. You can run a successful business. Success comes in many forms, and those were the things that it meant to me to be successful. I wanted to get my passion out there, and I wanted to teach about it and educate people and share the things that I love making with other people. So don't think that like I said, that you can't start a business if you don't have anything right now, because I started mine with absolutely nothing other than the herbs that I had harvested and the wax that that I traded with a friend for. So because when I started my site, that's all I had for sale was candles and some oils which I made from the herbs that I had harvested. So start small. You've got to start small, start somewhere. If you have one good idea, that's all it takes. Find your one good idea that you're passionate about, that nobody is doing as well as you can, or nobody does it quite like you do it, and put it out there. So I would say if you're going to, it's really important to be authentic if you're going to get into this. A lot of sites don't allow you to sell, eBay no longer allows people to sell services such as spell work or root work or tarot readings or any type of readings at all. As far as I know, you still can on Etsy. I'm almost positive you can, because everybody left from eBay and went to Etsy, and that was when I got off, because there were people on there selling big booty spells and breast enhancement spells and penis enlargement spells, and I was absolutely appalled, and it was time for me to go, because that's not what I'm about. Those people give people like me a terrible name. They make me look like a fool when my items are listed next to theirs, and they give people an unrealistic idea of what magic is. I have very, I don't want to be rude, so I'm trying to be diplomatic. I find those types of listings very disrespectful to my culture, to my art, to my craft, and to the skills that I possess. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So, when I started listing services, which I didn't sell a lot of to begin with on Etsy, that was more something I was doing through personal appointment. And I live in a neighborhood that is very liberal. Nobody in the neighborhood, there's like we have a Buddhist who lives here. I think we have like, several yoga instructors, which typically have an open belief system or an accepting belief system. I think we had a practicing Hindu here at one point. We have a family of Catholics who are some of my best friends. So everybody here we're all very diverse, and everybody loves it. Everybody is great with everybody. The more diversity and the more religions, the better here. So, I was, meeting people online through my other things I had set up. And people were slowly, getting to know me around the city and around the town and around the area. I was going to Pagan Pride Days. I was going to any venue that I could show up at like that to get my face and get my ideas and my philosophies out there and get my business cards out there. So again, you have to be tenacious and you have to be ambitious. If you really want to be a professional about this, you got to show up to anything that has anything to do with what you're interested in. And even if it's only slightly related to it, you show up anyway, and you convince the people who are in there that they're interested in what you're trying to do. So, that I was selling very few services at first on Etsy. I just had like maybe some simple candle vigils for sale. And even that was something that I argued with myself about, was, charging for money for this, because for years I had only done it for barter. But I realized that once I got on the internet, there was a huge amount of people out there that needed help and did not know how to do these things for themselves. It's not that I assumed that people knew how to do this stuff. It's just that I assumed that if they wanted to, they would put the research into it and the effort into it and learn how to do it. But it turns out that either some people just aren't that interested in it. They're not interested in learning the skill themselves and having it and doing it themselves. They don't have the time. Several things. It's like I could probably work on my own car if I wanted to. But, am I going to go to school to be a mechanic for, a year or two so I can do it? No, I'm not. I'm going to go take my car to the mechanic. So that's how I had to start looking at it. I had to start being more reasonable about it, and realizing that I was talking to people from all over the world, and they were interested in my services, and they wanted to know how they could get them. So slowly, as people were requesting things, I started documenting the process. I got a better digital camera. I took hundreds of thousands of photos outside so I could learn about lighting, setting my items up outside, learning about background, learning about shading, learning about arranging objects around them that would, draw your eye and that would complement the object. I mean, I literally took hundreds of thousands of photos that first year or two. And I started documenting the process of my workings. I started writing down everything I was using, which I had books and books and books of already. But when I was doing it for a particular client, I recorded what was going on during it, the outcome of it, and I took photographs of the entire process. And every time I did one, I listed it. I made it available online, so if anybody was interested in it, they could go through and they could see 5 or 10 photos of the process. I also started a blog, which I wrote about the process in great length and detail in. And again, this adds to your authenticity. This gives people a background. This shows people that you're doing what you say and that you know what you're talking about. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of detail. But if you want to get started in it and you love this type of work and you believe that you have skills and services to offer to people out there to help them spiritually, which will then help them in other areas of their life, you've got to start recording the work that you do. For yourself, you can begin with yourself, start recording the work that you do, take excellent pictures, and if it takes you a year or two to get good at it, like it did with me, you've got to have it because I think your pictures are probably pushing 70% of how people view you, how they view the quality of your work, how they view your authenticity. So having a great profile out there by yourself and being honest, don't say you have a bunch of credentials that you don't. Don't say that you studied under this shaman master for 5 years and that, you under this Reiki master for 10 and that you're a certified herbalist. And because I see people all the time who have these profiles with, 20 different credentials on them that they're not even old enough to have possibly even accomplished that. So don't lie on your profiles. Don't lie on your blogs. If you haven't done it or don't know how to do it, don't do it. Don't say that you did it. You got to be real with people. People are confiding in you. They're putting your absolute trust in you. They are going to be contacting you about miscarriages, about abortions, about death in the family, about infidelity, about other sexual issues, infertility issues, broken hearts. These are things that people contact me about on a weekly basis. And you need to have an authentic self and present that and show people that you are not judgmental, that you have an open heart, that you are who you say you are, and you do the work that you say you do, and give them every reason in the world to trust you. So I'm going to stop this video at this point. And like I said, I guess now we're going on to round 3 here. So this is kind of a long one, folks. So hang in there. I hope you're enjoying it. Okay, I'll be right back. Bye.